the journey began when we had no money, nothing. And it was hand to mouth, literally. We never locked into the 10%. We just said, Lord, here we are. What do you want us to do? It has been, it's a journey, because what happens when you commit to this and when you commit to giving according to the Word, according to the move of the Holy Spirit, you find yourself changed. And when the Word says you're to be a cheerful giver, when Paul says give cheerfully, that doesn't even capture how God moves in the individual. Because what happens is you change. We're at the point now that when we give, we can't wait to see what God's going to do. And I don't mean that just in our lives. I mean that in the lives of other people and relationally. See, the blessing in giving isn't just, well, my needs are going to be met. The blessings in giving it's relational. It's my relationship with Jesus Christ, and how much am I going to trust Him? Because when we give, we have to give by faith. And so when we give, Jesus Christ, I don't know how to explain it, but He just begins to move in a way that the Word says you can't even imagine what He's going to do. And it continues to keep us on our face before Him because of His goodness. And yes, we see changed lives, and we know people. When the Lord leads us into certain ministries, He somehow leads us also to be involved with them on some level. And so we've gotten to see the hand of God in other people's lives.
My name is Scott. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I came to Spartanburg to help my dad out. Actually, my mom had passed away, and I promised her that I would get my life right. So I ended up leaving Pennsylvania because I know if I would have stayed, I would have eventually ended up doing the same thing I was doing. So when I got to Spartanburg, things were going good in the beginning. But because of drugs, alcohol, and other things that wasn't of God, I ended up being homeless under a bridge. There was a couple times me and my friends, we were actually caught looking in a dumpster to get something to eat. But by the grace of God, he rescued me. What he did was he introduced me to a guy named Pastor Jim. And Pastor Jim is affiliated with Church Builders, Tabernacle. And I started attending that church, and we developed an awesome relationship that grew and grew. And with that came a lot of trust. And I came to him, I asked him to give me something to do. And he said I could put the chairs, straighten out the chairs, clean up. And I still do that today. That was like 4 years ago. I never actually had a bad day under the bridge. If I had a bad day, it was because I did something that I shouldn't have been doing. And that, that's self-inflicted stuff. That's what happens when you're disobedient. Your destruction is going to come. But I want to say, when I met Pastor Jim and some other people at Church Builders, they encouraged me to read the Word every day. And the Word says that do not be transformed by the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So that means read your Word every day. So that's what I tried to do. And I read Psalms 91. This is real important because this is what rescued me. Church Builders helped me, and they put me on the right track, but the Word is what rescued me. And what I read every day was Psalms 91. That will put a protective hedge around you and your family. And I read Ephesians 6 from 10 to 18. That's the armor of God. In Galatians 5 and 16, that's the fruits of the Spirit and the unclean spirit. And when you walk in the Spirit, you can recognize the unclean spirit. So if you do those three things, I don't care who you are, I don't care what you've done, the Holy Spirit can change your life around. And that's what Church Builder's done for me. I met a beautiful young lady. Her name is Tracy Blaine. In about 20 days, we're going to get married, and we're going to be moving in that house right behind me.
Ministries like Church Builders go to the places where people don't have. So for those that do have, the generosity of their hearts help us change those lives. Thank you.